Hello children, welcome to Study English with Jayashree MOB series. As I have completed my Act 1 Scene 1, now I am going to start with Act 1 Scene 2. As discussed in the last scene that Bassanio has revealed the fact of his love with Portia to whom? To Antonio. And as he wanted to go to Belmont to woo Portia, but being extravagant and as he leads a very luxurious lifestyle, so he spent all his money. He requested Antonio to help him, but as Antonio's all the ships were on the sea, so he do not have any cash in hand. But as he loves Bassanio and a true friend, so he is ready to take credit from the market for helping Bassanio. Now this scene, Act 1 Scene 2, starts in Belmont, where Portia lives. This is the house of the Belmont. The two characters are here, the Portia, who is the leading character of this MOB, and the second is Nerissa, who is a very good friend of Portia. She lives together in a Portia's house. She is a caretaker also, and she knows her very well. So this scene is very much important. Why? Because there are two main things in this scene, that it outlines the devices of the caskets for us, which will provide the dramatic basis for the scenes in which the various suitors come to marry Portia. So it introduces the casket. What is it? And secondly, it introduces Portia, not only a lady who is beautiful and loved by Bassanio, but in this scene you will see the intelligence and witty and sarcasm that is maintained by the Portia when Nerissa takes the names of the suitors and whatever she tells about them in a very witty and sarcastic manner. So this shows her intelligence, and this intelligence prepares the audience when Portia saves Antonio from the cruel hands of Shylock later on. The first speech is by Portia. She is saying, "By my troth," means trust me, Nerissa. Troth is trust. Believe me, my little body is aweary of this great world. I am very much tired of this world. I am very much tired of this worldly affairs. So as you have seen that in the Act 1 Scene 1, Antonio was sad, but he did not know the reason of his sadness. But here Portia, in this scene, we are seeing that Portia is also sad, but there is a but why Portia is sad, there is a clear-cut reason. What she is going to discuss here. Now Nerissa, "You would be sweet, madam," she is saying. "Yes, you must be tired, madam, if your miseries were in the same abundance as your good fortunes are." Means if you have as many miseries, as many bad fortune, just like as you have the good fortunes. "And yet, for aught I see, they are sick that surfeit, and often I have seen," aught means often, "I have seen, they are as sick that surfeit with too much as they that serve with nothing." The people who have too much in abundance, surfeit is in abundance, in lots of quantity, anything, whether they are very rich, that means they are very rich people. And the people who have nothing, the poor people. If you are lying in these two categories, these two extremes, one is very rich, the other is too poor. One is having the things in abundance, the second is so poor that he is not able to fulfill his daily needs. If you are in these two extremes, then you must be very sad. You are not happy. You cannot lead a very happy life. So what is important to lead a happy life? You must be in the middle. Means neither you have superfluity of anything, nor you have lack of. Now further she is saying that superfluity comes sooner by white hairs, but competency lives longer. What she has observed, that if you have superfluity, means you have the things in abundance or good fortune, then it comes with white hair. If you have, suppose you have a business and you make a very huge profit in that business. So what will happen? All the time your mind will be fixed there, how you can save your money, how you can invest your money to further enhance it, and whatever you do, so it comes with so many worries also. So in that way, if you are worrying all the time, if you are thinking about busy in your business, you will become old. How? Your gray hairs is old. You will become old earlier. But competency lives longer. But if you have competency, means sufficient, neither enough nor too less. If you have sufficient means, so you will live much happy life. Portia, good sentence and well pronounced. What she said, that okay, you have said very well, and that is also very good spoken. Nerissa, they would be better if we well followed. She is saying, what Nerissa is saying, that if you follow whatever I am saying it, if you understand it and you follow it, it would be much better. Now Portia is saying, if to do were as easy as to know what were good, to do chapels had been churches and poor men's cottages princes. Now Portia is saying, if it is as easy to say something, because it is very difficult. If you want to say something, you can say very easily. But if you have to follow that thing in your deeds, practically it is very difficult. So it is very easy to say something, but it is not as easy to do something practically. If it is as easy, then the chapels would be churches. Chapels are the small. It is a good divine that follows his own instructions. So here Nerissa is saying that it is a good divine is a preacher or a person who teaches you something. So if a preacher, he follows his own instructions, means whatever he is telling you, he admit those things on himself. I can easier teach 20 what were good to be done. I can teach 20 people that what is good and what is bad. Means I can give them instructions that what they have to do. That be one of the 20 to follow my own teaching. But it is not possible for me to follow my own teaching. Out of those 20, I cannot even follow even one teaching. So it is mainly thing is that it is very easy to say the things to others or advise others, but it is not easy to do the same thing or apply the same things on yourself. The brain may devise laws for the blood. So whatever your mind is telling you, that is for your blood. Blood is the body here. Means whatever is good or bad, your mind always advises you. But a hot temper leaps over a cold decree. Means a person who is young, who is having hot desires, heated desires, leaps over a cold degree. He does not entertain the laws. Whatever they are taught, they do not listen them because of the young blood. Such a hare is madness, the youth. Here she is comparing young youth with a hare. Here is a rabbit. So how hare is very, as hare is very active, it cannot sit at one place. So similarly, the young cripple cannot stay at one place. To skip over the meshes of good counsel, the cripple, meshes is the net. So as the hare, it is not easy to catch the hare by a net. Similarly, it is not easy to teach young pupil. Good counsel the cripple. But this reasoning is not in the fashion to choose me a husband. But what about these things? These all the things or all the advices, all the talks does not help me to choose my husband. Oh me, the word choose. Now here, oh me means she is sad. She is feeling sad, and here the word choose means why she is sad. On the word choose, when she uttered this word choose, she felt very sad. Why? I may neither choose whom I would nor refuse whom I dislike. Means she doesn't have a choice. Whether a person she likes, she can say that I can marry him, or if she doesn't like the person, she cannot refuse. Because so is the will of a living daughter curbed by the will of a dead father. Here, living daughter is referred to Portia. She is saying that I am living, I am alive, and my father is dead. So, but my will is curbed by, that is managed by my father. How it is managed? There is a story of casket. Is it not hard, Nerissa? As I told you that there is a story of casket, that the person who chooses the right casket in which the Portia's portrait is there, only that person has a right to marry Portia. But Portia cannot choose anyone. She has to follow the will of the father. So she is saying, is it not? She is asking Nerissa that don't you think it is a very sad thing for me that I cannot choose nor one refuse, that I don't have any choice of choosing my life partner. I can neither reject or nor accept anyone as a life partner. So it is a very sad thing for Nerissa. Neresa's speech, your father was ever virtuous. She is saying that your father was a talented man. Virtuous means a wise man. And holy men at the death have good inspirations, and the people who are wise, they got the inspirations or instructions from the God at the time of death. Therefore, the lottery that he hath devised in these 3 chests of gold, silver and lead. Therefore, the lottery, what is the lottery? That the person has to choose the right casket to marry Portia. What is made by his father, by her father. So chest, and those chests were made up of gold, silver and lead. Whereof who chooses this meaning chooses you, and who will choose the right casket, he will win Portia. Will no doubt never be chosen by any rightly, but one who shall rightly love. She has no doubt that as her father has got instructions from the God, as he was a very wise man, so the person who will choose the right casket, that is the person who only loves Portia. Means a true lover of Portia can only choose the right casket. But what warmth is there in your affection towards any of these princely suitors that are already come? So here Nerissa is asking Portia that you just tell me about your views. What do you think about the suitors who are coming to marry you? So what are your views for them? Portia is saying, I pray thee, thee is you, I pray you, I tell you, overname them, means take the name of those suitors. And as thou namest them, and as you take the name one by one, I will describe them. I will tell you the qualities of those suitors. And according to my description, level at my affection, and as I will describe the people, in that way you can judge that whom I like or not. Nerissa, first there is a Neapolitan prince. The first name is Neapolitan prince. So Nerissa asked Portia about him. Portia, hi, that is a colt indeed. She called Neapolitan prince as a colt. What is a colt? That is a horse, a young horse, a wild horse. Father doth nothing but talk of his horse. Why she has called him as a colt? Because he always talks about his horse. And he makes it a great appropriation to his own good parts that can shew him himself. What he does, he is very proud of his horse, and he also proud of on this quality that he can shoe the horse. What is shoeing the horse? The blacksmiths often put a iron metal on the legs of the horse. That is why the sound when they walk on the street or run on the street, you listen the sound. That is just because of this shoeing. So that is known by shoeing. He himself can shoe the horse. I am afraid, my lady, his mother played false with a smith. So here she is making a joke. She is taunting on Neapolitan prince. That I know that I think that his mother is having an extramarital affair with a blacksmith, and that is why this person, Neapolitan prince, must be the son of a blacksmith. That's why he feels very proud on doing the work of a blacksmith. Nerissa, the second name she has taken of County Palatine. Portia, he doth nothing but frown. Frown is sad, unhappy. So Portia is saying he is always unhappy. As who should say, and you will not have me choose. Because he is not bothered. He doesn't bother. Whether I choose him, whether he chooses the right thing or wrong, he doesn't bother anything. He hears merry tales and smiles not. If you tell him jokes also, then also he will not laugh. He is so serious. I fear he will prove the weeping philosopher. And what she fears, Portia, that she will become a weeping philosopher. Weeping philosopher means the philosophers often, they are very serious. Because they are wise people, and just because of they do not laugh on very easy things. So that is why he will become a weeping philosopher when he grows old, being so full of unmannerly sadness in his youth. Because he is now young And if at the time of his youth, the person are very cheerful. Generally, you see that youth people or young people are very cheerful, very happy all the time. They're so excited. But when he is young and at the time of this youth, he is so sad, then what will happen when he will become grown? He will become more sad. I had rather be married to a death head with a bone in his mouth than to either of these. So she is saying, simply saying that I don't want to marry these two, because marrying these two is just like a death head. What is death head? Death head is a sign of a skeleton. You will see the danger sign. So that is a sign of a skeleton with a bone in his mouth. God defend me from these two. So she is requesting or praying God that just defend me from these two, because I don't like any of these two suitors. Now Nerissa is saying, how say you by the French lord Monsieur Le Bon? Here it is pronounced Monsieur because it is a French word. Now God made him and therefore let him pass for a man. Portia is saying that because the God made him, he is a creature of God, so I call him a man. In truth, I know it is a sin to be a mocker, because it is very bad thing to mock at someone or to laugh at someone. It is not a good thing, and I know this. But he whined, he had a horse better than the Neapolitan, a better bad habit of a frowning than the County Palatine. He is better than the Neapolitan. She is comparing this French Lord Monsieur Le Bon with Neapolitan prince and County Palatine. So he is better than the Neapolitan prince, but better bad habits of frowning than the County Palatine. He is also some qualities of County Palatine. He is every man and no man. So he is what kind of a person? He copied other people's. Means he copied any character of anyone and the other characteristics of anyone. So he is not a unique person. He doesn't have his own qualities. He copies everyone. So he is every man and no man. It is a good divine saying. Throstle is a bird. So if a throstle sings, he falls straight a capering. Straight a capering, he starts dancing by making music. Means even a single bird song also make him dance and laugh. He will fence with his own shadow. Fence is fighting. So he starts fighting with his own shadow. If I should marry him, I should marry 20 husbands. And if I will marry him, what will happen? As he is having the characteristics of many people, he copied everyone. So I would have married 20 people. If he would despise me, I would forgive him. Despise means he will not choose me. Then I will forgive him for that. For if he loved me to madness, I shall never requite him. But if he loves me and he wants to marry me, he just win the casket or anything, so he will marry me. So I will never requite him. Requite means giving back. So as I don't like this personality, so also I cannot give my love back to him. Now Nerissa, she is taking the another name. What say you then to Falconbridge, the young Baron of England? Now the name is of Falconbridge. Now listen the views of Portia about Falconbridge. Portia, you know, I say nothing to him. What she says that I cannot say anything to him. To whom? To Falconbridge. Why? For he understands not me nor I him. Because he doesn't understands me, neither he understands me nor I understand. So what is the reason for that? He hath neither Latin, French nor Italian. Because he doesn't know these three languages, Latin, French and Italian. And Portia is very well in these three languages. And you will come into the court and swear that I have a poor pennyworth in English. And as you know that I have a very little knowledge of English. So how we can communicate? We don't have any common language. What will happen if you don't have any common language with someone? Suppose you are studying in a school and you know only Hindi. And everyone is speaking French there. So whether they will not understand you, nor you will understand you. So what will the way of communication between these two things? He is a proper man's picture. I know that he is a proper man because I can call him a man in qualities. But alas, alas is sad. Why? Who can converse with a dumb show? Because if we are going to marry, it will be a dumb show. Means we have to talk in science, just as the deaf and dumb people talks with science. That will be a dumb show. How oddly he is suited. And next, how oddly means his suited, his personality, his dressing sense is so odd. It is very awkward. How it is awkward? I think he bought his dowlet in Italy. Dowlet is a jacket. He has purchased his dowlet, his jacket from Italy. His round horse in France. Round horse is tight pants, trousers. So he has taken his tight pants from France and his bonnet in Germany. Bonnet is hat. Hat in Germany. And his behavior everyone. And his behavior is of everyone. So as she has mentioned earlier also that he is what he has taken, he is very oddly, means he is very awkward in dressing sense. So she doesn't like the person also. Now Nerissa is taking another name. What think you of a Scottish lord, his neighbor? Now here there is a story behind this. A Scot is the Scottish lord means Scotland. Scotland is a neighbor of England, and there is always a fight between these two countries. So here the reference, Shakespeare has given this reference. Portia, that he hath a neighborly charity in him. What he is having? He is a neighborly charity. For he borrowed a box or the ear. Box or the ear means he has got a slap. Once he has got a slap, the Englishman has slapped him once upon a time and swore he would pay him again when he was able. But he did not answer him back. He did not slap him at that time. And what he did, he has taken a promise that I will slap him when I will sometime get more competent than him, more powerful than him, then I will hit him. I think the Frenchman became his surety and sealed under for another. And I am sure that he is helped by the Frenchman to take his revenge, because there is a story is that there is always a fight between these two countries, just like we have a fight with our neighbors, like India and Pakistan always fight with each other. Similarly, England and Scotland always fight with each other, and French always helps Scotland. So she thinks that must have the Frenchman has helped him to take his revenge from the Englishman. So he is very coward. She is reporting that he is very coward personality. Nerissa, how like the young German, the Duke of Saxony's nephew. Now there is a nephew. Where is nephew? That is the German, young German. Portia, very wily in the morning when he is sober. So here Portia is saying that he is very bad in the wily is very bad in the morning when he is sober. Sober is not drunk yet, when he is not taken drunk yet. And most wily in the afternoon when he is drunk. And when he is drunk, when he has taken wine, then he becomes very bad. Means in the morning when he is not drunken, then he is bad, and when he drunks, he becomes more bad. He becomes worse. When he is best, he is little worse than a man. In his best time, when he is not drunken, he is like a little worse than a man, a very little worse than a man. And when he is worst, he is little better than a beast. And when he is worst, he is not at all called a man, he becomes beast. And the worst fall that ever fell. Means he is a type of a person, when he is worst, he is not better than a beast. And the worst fall that ever fell. And means if the worst fall, what is the worst fall? That this person chooses the right casket. I hope I shall make shift to go without him. I will do anything to get rid out of this man. Because what she is saying, that if this person who is a drunkard and I don't like this person, and by chance if he chooses the right casket, then I will do anything to save myself from him. What she will do? Now she is telling her plan. She has made some plan in her mind, and that she is going to Nerissa, that how she will save herself from this drunkard if he chooses the right casket. Nerissa, if he should offer to choose the right casket, you should refuse to perform your father's will, if you should refuse to accept him. Now Nerissa is telling, if he chooses the right casket, so you can refuse your father's will, because if she is not going to marry the person who chooses the right casket, then she is refusing her father's will. So Portia is saying, therefore, for fear of the worst. Therefore, because what is the worst fear? that she is chosen by this person who is drunkard. So that is the worst thing she can hope for that. I pray thee, set a deep glass of Rhenish wine of the contrary casket. Now I pray thee, thee means you. So Portia is requesting Nerissa that I pray you just set a deep glass of Rhenish wine, that is white wine. Just put a glass of a white wine on the contrary casket, on the next casket. Contrary means on the next casket where the Portia's figure is not there. So what will happen? If the devil be within and the temptation without, because he is a drunkard and he loves drinking. So what will happen? There is a devil inside him and it will be tempted by that Rhenish wine, not by Portia's figure, because he likes obviously wine. So that will be tempted, that will be attracted by that wine. I know he will choose it, and definitely he will choose the casket in which there is a wine put inside it. I will do anything, Nerissa, here I will be married to a sponge. Means I am ready to do anything to just save myself from this sponge. Sponge is asked to those people who are drunkard, who take too much of drinks. So they are known as a sponge. Now Nerissa is saying, you need not fear, lady, the having any of these lords. Nerissa is telling that there is nothing to fear you. Why? You should not fear. They have acquainted me. Acquainted means they have informed me with their determinations, with their discussions, or with their decisions. So they have taken the decision, which is indeed to return to their home, that they will go back to their home. They will not stay here for the casket ceremony. And to trouble you with no more suitors, unless you may be won by some other sort than your father's impositions. So here she is saying that they are going back to their home. Now why they are going back to their home? Because there is in the will, there is a condition also, that if the person who chooses the wrong casket, if the person chooses the right casket, then definitely he will marry Portia. But what will happen if the person chooses the wrong casket? There is a condition that the person will never marry to any other woman in his life. So that is a very difficult condition. If you are going to choose the right casket, then you are going to win Portia. But if you choose the wrong casket, you have to, for your whole life, you have to become bachelor. You cannot marry any other woman. So when they hear this condition, the suitors hear this condition, they have decided not to take part in that casket ceremony, and they decided to go back to their homelands. Now Portia is saying, if I live to be as old as Sibylla, I will die as chaste as Diana. Now here two characters are given, Sibylla and Diana. That Portia is saying that if anyone is not able to choose me, or they are not doing the right decisions, so I will remain like Sibylla or Diana. Who was Sibylla? So there is a Roman story, ancient story, that she is a woman of the ancient Romans. Sibylla is a woman of ancient Romans, and Apollo, he has promised her that she would live as many years as there were grains in her hand of sand. Means she is holding sand in her hand, and as long as that sand is in her hand, she will remain there. So as long as she is having this sand of grains in her hand, she will not die. So she is a symbol of old lady. And the second example is given here of Diana. Diana is a goddess. She is also a goddess, and she is known for her chastity, means for her virginity. She is a virgin goddess. So these two characters here Shakespeare has described to describe Portia. What it is mean? That Portia is saying, if any of these suitors is not able to choose the right casket, and then what will happen? I will not marry anyone. So if that also happens, I would have loved to be Sibylla, means if in the old age also I will remain unmarried, and just like that Diana, then these two things happen with me also, there is no problem. So I am glad this parcel of wooers are so reasonable. She is saying that I am very feeling proud that they are so reasonable, means so intelligent, for there is not one among them, but I dote on his very absence. So there is no any wooer who is so reasonable and so a person who is so intelligent, for whom I just miss him. Means for there is not one of them whose absence I should regret for. And I pray God grants them their fair departure. And I pray God that they just happily depart, happily go from this place to their homelands. Now Nerissa, do you not remember, lady, in your father's time, a Venetian? She is saying, do you remember the person that at your father's time were in a Venetian, in a Venice, a scholar and a soldier? Do you remember the person who was a scholar as well as a soldier? Now this is a description of whom? Bassanio. That means Portia and Bassanio met before also, and in Bassanio's speech he has also admits in front of Antonio that I have often seen those fair speechless messages. You must have remembered in Act 1 Scene 1, that is fair speechless messages from the lady who is Portia. That came hither in company of the Marquis Montferrat. So once the Bassanio came there with Prince Marquis of Montferrat. Now Portia, yes, it was Bassanio. She reminds the name of Bassanio. She says, yes, Bassanio, as I think, so was he called. Nerissa, true madam, he, of all the men that ever my foolish eyes looked upon, was the best deserving a fair lady. Now Nerissa is advising Portia that all the wooers who has come here to marry you, of all those persons, I find that Bassanio is the best choice. He is the best person or a deserving man who could marry you. Portia, I remember him well, and I remember him worthy of the praise. Now she is saying that I remember, I recalls him also, and whatever you are saying that he is a best suitor or he is the most deserved person to marry me, I also admit this. So that means Portia is also having a good image in her mind about Bassanio. Now who enters? Servant enters. How now? What news? What is the news? Servant, the 4 strangers seek for your madam. He is saying that the 4 strangers, 4 people, they have come from other places. They won't seek for your madam. They just want to depart from here, to take their leave. They are just going, and there is a forerunner. Forerunner means a person who is coming after that. There is a forerunner come from a 5th, the Prince of Morocco. Who is coming? The Prince of Morocco. Who brings word? The prince's master will be here night. So the servant of Prince of Morocco has came here, and he has given us a news that the Prince of Morocco is going to come at night. Portia, if I could bid the 5th welcome with so good heart, as I can bid the other 4 farewell. So what she is saying, that I wish that I would have welcomed the 5th person, who is that the Prince of Morocco. As just I am going, I am very reluctant to give the farewell, means goodbye to all those 4 suitors, then should be glad of his approach. If I have the condition of a saint and the complexion of a devil, I had rather he should shrive me and wife me. This is a very important description of Prince of Morocco, that he sees, because he is from where? From here, Africa, and Africa is a place, as you know, they are the people who are very dark complexion. So she is saying, if he happens to have the virtues of a saint means the quality of a saint, but the black complexion of a devil, means if he is so good like a saint, but if he is having black complexion, because he is from Morocco, then must be he is having a dark complexion, I should prefer to him for religious consolation rather than his as a husband. So I would, what would I like? I would like to take him as a saint, but not as a husband. So here you can see that Portia is taking the difference in color. So that is a racial discrimination also it is putting by Shakespeare. So because she doesn't like dark complexion, as there is a racial discrimination between these two races. So here she is saying the same thing, that I would have loved him to be here just like a saint, but not like a husband, because he is having a dark complexion. Now, come Nerissa, Sirram, go before. So Sirrah is here, serving. Come Nerissa, go before. Just while we shut the gates upon the wooer, another knocks at the door. So what happened? As we are getting rid of 4 suitors, another is knocking at the door, because these 4 suitors whom we have discussed earlier, they all are going, but now there is a news of a 5th suitor, that is Prince of Morocco. As you see that this is all the description about the suitors who have come to woo Portia or to marry Portia. So this is a very difficult also. Why difficult? Because the description of all the suitors are given here, and many of the time this becomes very confusing. So I have made each and every line clear for you, because so that it does not make any confusion in your mind, and many questions can arise from this this scene 2, because this is a description of the suitors, and you have to remember what is about the suitor or what is told about them very clearly, because if the confusion arises, then you may give the wrong answer. So listen very carefully this, and each and every thing I have made it clear for you. Also the references, whatever is described here, I have given the references also. Many times the questions from the references also arises. Now you just go through this well. So children, do like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my educational videos. You can ask me the questions in the comment section regarding this. I will surely solve your doubts.